You're sitting at a banquet table surrounded by Rome's most powerful men. The wine in your cup tastes like copper. Your wife sits beside you, her hand trembling in yours. Everyone is pretending to eat, pretending to laugh, pretending this is normal. Then he stands. Emperor Caligula rises from his seat and the room goes silent. He walks between the tables slowly, deliberately, his eyes scanning the faces of the women. He's choosing. Your heart stops when he reaches your table. He doesn't ask permission. He doesn't even look at you. He simply takes your wife's hand and leads her away through a side door. You sit frozen. The man across from you stares into his wine like it holds answers. Nobody speaks. Nobody moves. 20 minutes pass like 20 lifetimes. When the door finally opens again, she returns. She won't meet your eyes. And then he sits down beside you. He pours himself more wine. And in front of every senator, every nobleman, every person whose opinion matters in your world, he begins to describe in clinical, graphic detail exactly what just happened in that room. You have to smile. You have to nod. You have to thank him, because if you don't, your children will be dead by morning. This wasn't madness. This was engineering. A machine built with surgical precision to destroy the human soul. And the man who designed it learned everything from watching his entire family get murdered by the previous emperor. His name was Caligula, and what he did to Rome is so systematically evil that 2,000 years later we're still trying to understand how one human being could architect this level of psychological warfare. The truly terrifying part isn't what he did. It's that the system he built outlived him. It became the blueprint for every monster who came after. But here's what nobody tells you about Caligula. He wasn't born this way. He was manufactured, and the process started when he was 7 years old. Picture a small boy running through a Roman military camp in the year 19 AD. He's wearing miniature legionnaire armor, complete with tiny red boots. The soldiers call him Caligula, Little Boots. His father is Germanicus, Rome's greatest general, and these battle-hardened men who've conquered half the known world absolutely adore this child. They pick him up, toss him in the air, treat him like a mascot. He's their good luck charm. Everywhere his father goes, little Caligula follows. The boy grows up thinking he's invincible, protected by the most powerful army on earth. He has no idea what's waiting for him. 1 year later, his father dies. The official story is sudden illness. The whispered story is poison, ordered by someone close to Emperor Tiberius, maybe by Tiberius himself. Caligula is 8 years old when the machine starts destroying his family. His mother is dragged from their home, accused of treason. His oldest brother is arrested, imprisoned, starved until he tries to eat the stuffing from his mattress. His second brother is exiled to an island where guards torture him until he smashes his own head against the walls to end it. One by one, they're erased. Young Caligula watches it all happen. By the time he's 19, he's the last one left, the sole survivor of his entire bloodline. Then comes the summons. Emperor Tiberius wants to see him. The invitation is to Capri, a beautiful island off the coast of Italy that Tiberius has turned into his personal fortress. Ancient historians writing within living memory of these events describe Capri as a house of horrors. Tiberius has become paranoid and depraved, inventing new cruelties because he's bored. And into this environment walks teenage Caligula. He knows Tiberius murdered his family. Everyone knows it, but he can't show it, can't even hint at it. One wrong look, one flash of anger, and he's dead. So he doesn't just survive, he excels. The historian Suetonius writes something chilling about him during this period. There never was a better servant or a worse master. Caligula learns to bury everything human inside himself. He watches, he studies, he becomes exactly what Tiberius wants, obedient, entertaining, harmless. For 6 years, he plays this role perfectly. And then in 37 AD, Tiberius dies. Some say natural causes. Others say Caligula smothered him with a pillow. Either way, the 19-year-old hostage is now the most powerful person on earth. Rome celebrates. They think they're getting the beloved son of heroic Germanicus. They have no idea they have just crowned a man who spent 6 years learning how to break human beings from the greatest monster in Roman history. For 7 months, everything seems perfect. Then Caligula gets sick, a fever that nearly kills him. And when he wakes up, something inside him has shattered. The person who recovers is not the same person who fell ill. Rome is about to learn what he's been hiding all these years. What I'm about to describe isn't random violence. It's not the acts of a madman. Caligula built a system, a machine with 5 distinct mechanisms, each designed to destroy a different part of the human spirit. And the truly terrifying part is how methodical it was. The first mechanism of the machine reveals itself when Caligula's sister Drusilla dies. Ancient sources suggest their relationship crossed lines that even Rome found disturbing. Whether the rumors of incest were true or propaganda, what matters is that everyone believed them. And Caligula didn't just allow the whispers, he encouraged them. When Drusilla died, he didn't just mourn, he weaponized mourning itself. He has the Senate declare her a goddess, not metaphorically, officially. There are now temples where Romans are required to worship his dead sister. Then he declares a period of mandatory grief, and here's where it becomes monstrous. It is now a capital crime to laugh. It is now a capital crime to bathe. It is now a capital crime to have dinner with your family. For weeks, maybe months. If you're caught smiling, you can be executed. Imagine living like that. Your child tells a joke at breakfast. Do you laugh? Do you punish them for being a child? Every moment of joy becomes a potential death sentence. He's making Rome feel his pain whether they want to or not. He's learning he can legislate emotion, criminalize happiness, make his inner world everyone's reality. Then comes the imperial brothel. What happens next is so disturbing that historians still debate whether it actually occurred or was later propaganda, but ancient sources claim Caligula establishes a brothel inside the palace, not for himself but for the public, as a business. And it's not staffed by common workers, it's staffed by the sons and daughters of Rome's noble families, the aristocracy, the senators, the people who rule provinces and command legions. He has heralds announce the prices in the streets, different rates for married women versus unmarried, special rates for virgins from senatorial families. And he keeps ledgers, detailed records, names, dates, transactions, the bureaucratic accounting of human degradation. If you're a Roman nobleman, your entire identity is built on family honor. Your lineage goes back centuries. And now your daughter is being advertised in the streets like livestock, and there's a ledger with her name in it. And you can do absolutely nothing because the alternative is execution. He's not just taking their bodies, he's taking the one thing Roman aristocracy valued more than life itself: their reputation, their legacy, their name. If you believe that the darkest chapters of history must be remembered and understood, consider subscribing to this channel. Your support helps us continue documenting these stories that shaped our world, stories that remind us what happens when power becomes absolute and unchecked. Because what comes next shows us that Caligula understood something even more devastating than public humiliation. He understood private humiliation with public witnesses. The banquet scene I described at the beginning wasn't an isolated incident. It was a protocol, a repeated mechanism. He would sit these men down, force them to watch, force them to participate in their own degradation. He's not just violating their wives, he's destroying everything that makes them men in Roman society. Their ability to protect their family, their authority, their dignity. He's taking it in front of everyone who matters. And tomorrow, they have to come back. They have to smile at these same people. They have to pretend it never happened while everyone knows exactly what happened. He's not just destroying individuals. He's destroying the social fabric itself, making everyone complicit, making everyone a witness to everyone else's humiliation. But there's one bond even stronger than marriage. The bond between parent and child. Caligula begins executing people not for treason, not for crimes, just because he's bored or annoyed. And he develops a new protocol. If he's executing someone's son, the father has to watch, not from a distance, up close. Front row. Suetonius records a specific incident that reveals the true horror. A father watches his son executed. Caligula then immediately has this man brought to the palace for dinner that same night. The body is still warm. The father is sitting at Caligula's table. And Caligula just watches him, studying his face like he's conducting an experiment, checking to see if the father will cry, if he'll show grief, any sign of pain. Because if he does, Caligula will know he hasn't broken him completely, that there's still something human left to destroy. The father sits there eating food he can't taste, making conversation he can't hear, while his son's body cools somewhere outside. Caligula is making love itself dangerous. The more you care about someone, the more vulnerable you are, the more he can hurt you. But the machine had a fatal flaw. While Caligula was busy destroying senators and noblemen, people trained to accept humiliation who understood politics, who could rationalize their suffering as the price of survival, he made one crucial mistake. He aimed his casual everyday cruelty at the wrong type of person. A soldier named Cassius Chaerea, a senior officer in the Praetorian Guard. These are the elite. The men who stand inches from Caligula every single day, armed, trained, lethal. Chaerea had one physical characteristic that Caligula found endlessly amusing: a high-pitched voice. Every day brought new jokes, new mockery. When it was Chaerea's turn to ask for the daily password, a military protocol done in front of all the other guards, Caligula would assign him words like Venus or Priapus, deliberately effeminate or sexual terms that would make the other soldiers smirk, day after day, week after week. For Caligula it was throwaway humor. For Chaerea every joke was a drop of poison. Caligula had made a calculation error. Senators could be humiliated because they wanted to live, but Chaerea was a soldier who stood next to the emperor every day with a sword on his hip, and Caligula had just taught him that life under this emperor wasn't worth living. January 24, 41 AD. Caligula is leaving the theater through a narrow underground corridor. Chaerea steps forward and asks for the day's password. Caligula gives one final sneering response. Chaerea screams and drives his sword up under Caligula's ribs. 30 stab wounds according to the sources. 4 years of accumulated rage released in 60 seconds. The monster is dead. But the conspirators don't stop. They find his wife Caesonia and stab her to death. Then they find the nursery. Caligula's daughter Julia Drusilla is 2 or 3 years old. A soldier picks her up and swings her head first into a marble wall. They have to make sure there's no heir who could grow up and seek vengeance. This is what happens when the machine breaks. It doesn't just stop, it devours everything connected to it. For a few hours it seems like Rome might actually change. The Senate gathers and debates restoring the Republic. But while they're talking, the Praetorian Guard is looting the palace. One of them finds a man hiding behind a curtain, Claudius Caligula's uncle, the family embarrassment with a stutter and a limp. The guards carry him to their camp and proclaim him emperor. The system survived. Caligula ruled for less than 4 years, a blip in Roman history, and yet 2,000 years later we're still talking about him, because he proved something terrifying about power. He showed that the entire machinery of a state can be turned into an instrument of personal psychological warfare. Every atrocity he committed was technically legal because he was the law, and when he died, the system didn't die with him, it just found a new operator. That's the real horror. The machine kept running, Nero Domitian Commodus. Elagabalus, the blueprint remained because Caligula revealed a truth about power that Rome could never unlearn. When one person controls everything, there's no mechanism to stop them except waiting for them to die. And even then, the system just finds someone new. What haunts us isn't just what Caligula did. It's what he taught us about ourselves, that cruelty can be systematized, that evil can be bureaucratized, that the machinery of civilization itself can be weaponized by a single damaged soul. He was manufactured by trauma, perfected by observation, and unleashed by opportunity. The greatest monsters don't announce themselves. They learn, they adapt, they wear the mask of loyalty until they don't need it anymore. And the systems we build to protect ourselves can become the very instruments of our destruction. That's the lesson Caligula left us, not ancient history, a warning that never expires. What disturbs you most about how power can corrupt absolutely? And what modern parallels do you see in Caligula's machinery of control? Share your thoughts in the comments below.